we're going to continue to build the project that we started in the last video. So we're going to click on our document that we created. And this is a 14-inch base tube that we sketched out and created. So imagine having two right angle connections and another 14-inch base tube over here with two 7-inch or 7.5-inch tubes connecting this, and those being the base. We're in the part studio view. This is where you build your parts, and eventually we'll need all the parts assembled, and we'll go down here to assembly view. We don't need that yet, but that's where we're going. And we won't have to print out these tubes that we're creating, but we do need those in assembly to make sure everything fits, that our angles are correct. And even though we're going to need two of these, we're only going to create one, because if we change the dimensions of this one, we would have to change the dimensions of the second. So it only makes sense to have one. So we're going to create that 7.5-inch tube, and we're going to turn this part off. So you notice this little eyeball here. If you click on that, left click, you'll turn that off. We don't need to see it. That would be distracting. If we're trying to build parts right on top of it, it would get in the way. So we're going to go over here to this top view and keep these parts oriented in the same direction. I'm going to turn that part off so we don't have to look at it. I'm going to take the wheel on the mouse and press it and drag that top view up. We had the last one in front view to make the circle, so we're going to do that again. So I'm going to turn this one back off. We'll just keep those going in the same direction. It doesn't matter, but just to keep it organized. We're going to go up here to Sketch Tool, and we're going to click on the plane that we're going to work in. So the front plane, you notice it right here. Now it's listed, and you see that that sketch rectangle shows up. We're going to go up to Center Point Circle. We're going to click on that, and we're going to drag that out, and then hit Escape, so that we don't create another circle. And we're going to go up to the dimension tool, come down after selecting the dimension, and left click on the outer part of that circle, drag that out, and we want this to be 0.5, so a 1/2 inch in diameter for the tube. Same process we used last time. And now we're going to go back to isometric view, so now you can see that circle, and I believe we extruded this out in the right plane. So I'm going to turn the old one on. Yes, so we need to be in the right plane to do that, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So if I turn the old part off, notice that that line that we created to create the tube when we swept it was in the right plane. So alright, so now turn that off. So we can use those older parts to kind of orient ourselves to make sure everything's going in the same direction. Now we're going to create that second sketch just like we did before. And again, I'll rename these at the end of the video. So we're creating a new sketch. It's asking which plane. We want to be in the right plane. We're going to go up here to this line tool, and we bring the cursor over the center point of the right plane, and I'm going to left click and drag that out. Doesn't matter how long it is right now. Left click again. Now it's going to try to create that other additional line, so we hit Escape, and that'll turn that feature off. Now we're going to go back up to the dimension tool. We're going to left click on that line, drag that out, and we want this one to be 7.5 inches long. Alright, great. So now let's turn our sketch feature off. Let's go back up here to isometric view so that we can see both. And we're going to go and sweep that path to create the outer surface of the tube. So for this, make sure that solid is on, that new, and now it's asking us the faces to sketch. And so we're going to go down here and select left click on the outer part of that circle. That's going to be the face, and now it needs the path, and that's the line that we just drew. So we're going to click on that until it turns blue, and then come down here and left click on the line. Now we've created another pot, but it's not hollow. Let's go ahead and close the swept path out. And let's go up here to the shell. We're going to click on that, left click, come down, and now we're going to select the end of that pipe here. All right. And before we close that out, we're going to go to the other side, so other isometric view. I just clicked on that square. And we want that to be 0.0625, 1/16 of an inch thick. Not that it'll matter, but again, it gives us practice. So if we ever need something to fit inside that tube, we'll have it set up. But let's right click on that and let's go down to Edit Appearance. Let's change that to silver so that these tubes will look like they're aluminum, and just to give us practice. And I'm going to change this, so I'm going to go to Rename, left click on the inside of that, and this is going to be 7.5 inches. So I got that one right. Base tube. And this is just to keep everything organized, so if we need to go back in and change dimensions, we can quickly look at that list of sketches and sweeps that we're creating in the features. That's what they're defined as features. And quickly edit and find the elements of that part we need to change in the features. So right now we have 12. Form feature. So we're going to select this part here. And let's go up and find transform right here. And then what I'm going to do is, it's selected part 2, that's the one we want to move. And we're going to move this by X, Y, and Z so that we can just drag it. You'll notice these 2 arrows pop up. We're in top view right now. So you notice top view, and that's why you only see 2 arrows, because we're only moving it in the XY plane. Now if we were in isometric view, you'll notice that we have 3 arrows. So we'll get X, Y, and Z. So we have X here, Y here, and Z here. And you'll notice that corresponds to what's in the cube. But often if you're just moving it from one side to the next, it's easier just to keep it in one plane. And I'm just going to drag that over so that if we do turn these on at the same time, we can see the difference between the 2. Alright, so I'm going to check that transform, and now we can turn both parts on. I'm going to scroll out, and that's all we're going to do for this video. So there I'm pressing the right trigger button. Now I'm going to press the center of the wheel, or the center wheel. Let's go back to top view. We'll leave it oriented like that, and we'll turn both of these off and get repetition with that next video.